What's going on, y'all? I'm here to talk about the crazy changes I've made to Corviknight. So, if this is your very first video of mine and you're looking at this and you're losing your mind, right? You're probably thinking, what the hell? Corviknight with 103, 123, 88 bulk, and intimidate and parting shot. What? It's strong too. What is going on? You're probably losing your mind. So, I do want to have a really important disclaimer, especially for a video like this, that this is number one, it's a ROM hack. Number two, I rebalance and rework every single Pokemon in the game. That includes ones that are traditionally considered good, and especially in a competitive sense, which doesn't really even translate to in-game at all. So yes, obviously something like Intimidate, 103, 123 Corviknight with Parting Shot is like absurd in a competitive, in a singles context, but that's not really what this hack is balanced around at all. There are tons of other, Intimidate, a good amount of other Intimidate Parting Shot mons. Obviously, yes, Steel Flying with this type of bulk is incredible. So, for example, I have to balance this around other Pokemon of the same combo, right? With the only one in this game being Skarmory. So Skarmory is a lot, much faster and a lot more offensively oriented than Corviknight, but it's still obviously physically tanky as hell. So, we'll cover that when I get to the Skarmory video, but point being, yeah, I highly recommend that if you're new here, you pause the video and read the description because it'll answer a lot of your questions as for why Corviknight is changed this way and why the game is balanced this way. So give that a read before you leave a comment or whatever, or you click off the video. Definitely give that a read. And then when you're done with the video, you can also check out the playlist link down below in the description and the Google Sheet. Don't click that yet because it'll mess up the watch time, but when you're done with the video, you can click that. And then the move guide is super important because I've reworked every single move in the game, basically. Not literally every single one, but just the moves in general are overhauled, right? So they're all into new categories, it's all reworked, so you can click them and it'll take you there, and then once you understand the categories, it's pretty easy to understand everything from there. I don't think you need to memorize them one by one. I think you could just realize what categories they fall into, and it's easy that way. So yeah, that's Corviknight. That's the basics of the hack. So again, give the description a read, it'll answer your questions about the balancing. As for Corviknight itself, so all three of these abilities fit super fucking well. So I know there's going to be all types, people are going to be like, why'd you go to Mirror Armor? Mirror Armor is cool, blah, 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 blah. So these abilities are very fitting, first off. So even Rookity, even for Rookity, because I know some smart ass is going to be like, well, Rookity, Intimidate. And then there'll be like an equal amount of people who understand already because they know the lore or whatever. It literally is word for word says, like, it's intimidating. Where is it? Yeah, the white markings around Rookity's eyes intimidate faint-hearted Pokemon. So the whole point of Rookity is that it's like super fucking angry and cocky for being a little tiny bird. So it takes advantage of even the slightest opportunity to disorient larger opponents. So first of all, it has Unnerve. Any Pokemon, and I mean this literally, any Pokemon with Unnerve can have Intimidate, in my opinion, flavor-wise. It's the same concept. It's the exact same concept. You could give every single Unnerve Pokemon and swap it for Intimidate, and they would fit. Because that's just what it is, it's the same concept. Instead of making them nervous and dropping their attack, it makes them nervous and makes them unable to eat berries. I do think Unnerve is slightly different. Like, for example, you could give Unnerve to Dusclops, but not Intimidate, in my opinion. That's a good example of where Unnerve fits, but it doesn't. But all the vanilla Unnerve Pokemon make sense for Intimidate. So Corviknight is no exception, right? I'm assuming they didn't give it to it for obvious balance reasons, but that doesn't apply in a ROM hack like this, where everything is reworked like this and it's all in an in-game context. So yeah, Intimidate Corviknight is fat as hell. It's great. I mean, I'm not trying to downplay how good it is, but it does make you a bit of a crit magnet. So I mean, for example, Skarmory will have Battle Armor. I would prefer that personally, just because then you can't get crit and stuff. But obviously, Intimidate's support is invaluable for your entire team. And then of course you can Parting Shot out or U-turn out, either to deal some chip or drop their attack even more. You've also got Feather Dance and Glare for other debuffing stuff. Glare drops attack, special attack, and paralyzes, so that's great. I'll cover a bunch of other really cool stuff, but first I want to cover the ability choices. So that's why I picked Intimidate. Defiant, as you read, even from Rookity's deck entries, Defiant makes perfect sense. Let alone with the others, it really it fits them. It's a good fitting, So Corvisquire is also said to be really intelligent, which is why I threw on stuff like Encore and other cool moves like that. I was considering Technician because he can use tools and stuff, but I don't know. I ended up not doing it. I think this is fine still. Defiant is still a really good ability early game. Honestly, if I'm being real, later in the game, Defiant is pretty niche because Parting Shot isn't as ubiquitous as it was in Sweltering Sun. For Sweltering, pretty much every boss fight has at least one or two Parting Shot mons, which you can use to get your Defiant boost, but in this case, it's pretty unreliable end game. It'll still come up once in a while, but I would say it's more of an early thing and also a flavor thing. And also because it was hard to find a third ability slot that doesn't overlap with Skarmory that is worth using. Mirror Armor would be, I mean, if Defiant is mid, imagine how mid Mirror Armor is, right? Because Mirror Armor just reflects the stat drops. And for example, when you're switching in on like moves that have a chance to drop stats and all, like that's only a chance, right? So it's only you should only plan around Defiant if the move is guaranteed to drop a stat, not if it's a chance to drop a stat. So for example, I don't know, random example like Flash Cannon is a 1 in 2 chance to drop Spadef. Now that's obviously scary for you to play around against the AI. You switch in on Flash Cannon, you should plan as if it's dropping your Spadef, but not in a beneficial way, you know? Like if you're trying to get a Defiant boost, you can't plan for that. But if you are trying to switch in, you should plan for the worst case, which is that they get the drop. Meanwhile, for the player, it's inconsistent. You can't use Flash Cannon to reliably get drops. That's just not how it works. It's not safe. That's how a lot of additional effects in this game are balanced. Speaking of debuffing, other debuffing stuff, so you've also got Metal Sound, which is great on Corviknight. That drops Spadef and special attack by -2. You've got your good old Roost, your good old Fortify, you've got Aerial Ace for priority, but something I want to touch on now is, also Rock Blast. There's a dex entry that, where is it? Yeah, smart enough to use tools in battles. These Pokemon have been seen picking up rocks and flinging them. So, Rock Blast, there you go. That's why they get that. Same with Rock Slide, although I give that just to Corviknight because I still don't really see Corvisquire using it personally. They do get Rock Tomb and Rock Blast though, so that's good. Anyway, yeah, on the topic of Gale Wings. So Gale Wings, number one, I mean, very fitting at least. I mean, the whole, I believe there's about 4 or 5 Pokemon I plan to have Gale Wings now, because in Sweltering I kind of dismissed Gale Wings, I'm not gonna lie, because in my head it's like, oh, it's nerfed, it's bad. Because in a competitive sense, yeah, there's hazards, it's easy to get worn down, blah 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 blah. So it's easy, you know, it's not bad, as you know, but in singles it's like meh. So I was, you know, indulging in a bit of competitive brainedness myself, which I criticize all the time, but I wasn't really thinking about it from an in-game perspective because Gale Wings is actually fucking great. Yeah, it's not free priority on everything, but it's not hard to just, you know, pivot in and keep your HP full. And obviously that means you can't spam Brave Bird, for example, but you can use all of your other physical flying moves for the most part and just get priority on them. And if you're running, like, for example, Banded, Fly, or Power Herb Sky Attack giving you +1 attack and accuracy now. So you can click, you know, Power Herb Sky Attack with Gale Wings, which is like a free Quick Claw at that point, right? And then you can use that +1 attack to click things like your, you know, reliable flying. You could use Acrobatics after that, for example, and then you have +1 attack, priority Acrobatics. So that's fucking insane. It's honestly borderline busted still, because I really wasn't thinking about how easy it is to just get them in at full HP, right? You can just slow pivot with a slow pivot move or eject button out or whatever else, or, you know, you have 2 immunities. So there's tons of ways to get your Corviknight in on full HP. And then once that is, you can just use a band with all of these strong physical flying moves or acrobatics, whatever. I mean, I think really the coolest way is that Sky Attack into Acro set. So much so that I'm debating now moving Sky Attack later, but I don't know, man. It's tough to... Yeah, because Dive Bomb is also great. Maybe, yeah, but then Brave Bird is midi. I don't know. It's hard to pick, because Dive Bomb, you can slap on Wide Lens, and that's a 130 power, no drawback. Well, the drawback is that you can miss, and then it's essentially flying type by jump kick, right? So that's the obvious downside there. They also have an exclusive Steel Wing Beat, as you can read. It's just Steel Wing Beat, but it's Steel type. Initially, I had that giving you a defense boost, but it's obviously very broken to give you +2 defense each time you click it. On top of something that's already so tanky, you know, Corviknight and Skarmory and Empoleon are the 3 ones that I plan to have this right now. And Skarmory and Empoleon will both have sharpness boost on it because their wings are literal blades, right? So I think that's super dope. So for Corviknight, that's the reason it's not a crazy move, is because it's balanced around sharpness for the other 2, making it 135 power. In this case, it's just Steel type Dual Wing Beat, which isn't bad. I mean, that's stronger than Iron Head, and it breaks sashes and stuff. And it's also pretty early on at 43. That's very early. And the reason Dual Wing Beat is so late is because Choice Band Gale Wings Dual Wing Beat is kind of, I mean, it's 90 power, no drawback. It's really spammable to the point where it like breaks sashes on AI and stuff. So I might have to eventually nerf Wing Beat back to 40 power because of Technician shit. But for now, I'm keeping it at 45. You do have Fly, which is 95 power, 100% accurate, no drawback there. So that's also a good option. I mean, obviously it's significantly earlier, 25 levels earlier than Dual Wing Beat. Dual Wing Beat being only legal for like the Elite Four and other endgame bosses, basically. I really do. I might have to move it. Let me ask you quickly. Sky Attack level. All right, so I'll type that in later and ask him what he thinks, because I might have to actually move that Sky Attack a little bit later because it is really strong with acrobatics. Because You get the priority. It's a super strong sky attack, right? It one-shot everything. You can also do it with dive bomb. Oh yeah, yeah. Why don't you just do dive bomb? It's the drawback of the accuracy is removed because you get the +1 accuracy. So either way, dive bomb or acrobatics after a sky attack is fucking crazy. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to push sky attack back, but regardless, that's all great. Battle cry plus intimidate is great. That drops attack and special attack by -2. So that's like feather dance and metal sound combined into one, but without the split F drop, of course. So even metal sound still has use. You know, you've got your good old mirror coat, metal burst counter. So I did get the mirror coat because of mirror armor. So like, don't get it twisted. I think mirror armor is a sick ability. It's so niche. Early game it would be good, but it doesn't make any sense for Rookie Deer Corvisquire to have, right? So it's a tough call. It is a cool ability, but it's just not good. And even Defiant is like kind of mid to even not good late game. But it was hard to think of an ability that fits and again doesn't overlap and also isn't like redundant with both Intimidate and Gale Wings. So for example, no speed ability, no defensive ability ideally, unless it's like a different. Like I was thinking about a Wind Rider for a while because like it's kind of cool, you know, the whole thing about them transporting, which is also again why they have Gale Wings because they're all about like transporting people. But I don't know. Like, it just doesn't fit that well, man. Wind Rider, that is. Like, it's a cool idea, but they don't glide, they fly. You know, they flap their wings. So I don't really see Wind Rider. But it would be also Tailwind. Like, I don't know, a little bit, not broken, but it's super tanky and yeah, I don't know. So that's all cool stuff. They've got good coverage. You know, drill run, takedown, rock slide, lunge. Basically all those. I mean, nothing like insane, but it's solid coverage. You know, Shadow Claw, stuff like that. Obviously, body press is good. Takedown, I already covered. Hell thrust, dark moves and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Of course, you've got your loaded. You could even do like loaded dice, Fury Pex, Gale Wings. That's pretty great before you get dual wing beat. That's 100 power priority move with Gale Wings, and it breaks sashes and stuff. So that's really useful. Yeah. Thank you for listening. Shout out to you if you made it to the end. I do appreciate that very much. And I'll be back for more videos coming up. I guess anything else I need to cover? I don't think so. Corvisquire is faster than Corviknight, still pretty strong, very tanky. In theory, you could keep it past 38 if you wanted to for either type matchup reasons or if you like Corvisquire more, whatever. You know, you totally could use it. It's tanky and fast and relatively strong. But yeah. All right. Yeah, and then as for the stats, I mean, again, all the 3 stages are 550 for the most part. And then also Corviknight's fucking huge, so that's why I gave him the 103 HP. And that's why I give him a lot of attack, because he's like this giant metal bird, right? So I think he should be pretty strong. So yeah, thank you for listening, and I'll be back for more videos coming up. Peace.